Welcome to Cax Bar and Podcast, Canada's first podcast bar. What that means is you can come here for food, you can come here for drinks, you can also come here and record a podcast. Come on down, we're located in downtown Calgary, Alberta in the Beltline area. See you soon. And we're rolling here today with Talks and Tonics podcast host Jason Olandesca. That right? I said your last name correct. Yeah. Jason's a previous guest on the podcast. He also is a podcaster himself. He, for people who don't know about him, he also is a nurse. He's also skilled in the world of aesthetics. So he's a long history doing business as far as doing like Botox, injections of that sort, and things like that. But Jason's a man of many hobbies and ventures, if you will. And I strongly recommend you guys tune into his podcast, the Talks and Tonics podcast, which I'll put in the link there. He talks to other fellow Calgarians just like myself. And, you know, Jason and I have developed a friendship and it's been pretty sweet along the way. But specifically today, I brought him on because there's two big things going on in his life. So one, he is doing a boxing match through Southpaw Boxing Gym. It's the Chump to Champ. Chump to Champ
Canada. Yeah. On Instagram, it's Chump to Champ Canada.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Hey, just pull this thing up just a little bit closer. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go. Boom. Cool. So it's going to be a boxing match. When's the date?
It's Saturday, September 28th.
Okay, perfect. And the proceeds, do they go somewhere?
Absolutely. It goes to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Calgary.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And if I was to how do people support that match? Can they buy tickets through you right now, or
they can follow me on my podcast, Talks and Tonics podcast. Geez, I didn't even know my Instagram handle.
Whatever. Show notes here.
Or they can follow me on Facebook, Jason Olandesca. I started a little event, Elevated Events Calgary group that I shoot out all the events that are happening in Calgary. Or they can go directly to Chump to Champ Canada, and they'll be posting tickets, I believe, in the next few days.
Okay. But I want to dive completely into that. And then there's a second thing that Jason's involved with right now. So there's a movie that's going to be coming out soon. It's an independent film. It's called Check Engine. Now, it's a pretty touchy film. It's around the topic of suicide,
Absolutely.
male mental health. And Jason's partaking in fundraising for this independent film project as well here. So I believe Cax Barn Podcast will be having a fundraiser dinner at some point in the summertime. We'll keep everyone in the loop about that as well. You can, we'll give you more details to come, but it's going to be like a ticketed dinner type of thing. But the proceeds go towards funding this independent film.
Absolutely,
Check Engine. And Jason also did a podcast with the people that made Check Engine. What were their names again, bro?
So it was Kevin Moriarty and Jesus Ortiz from Mexico. They are of Coculcan Productions, a production company founded by Jesus, and Kevin. And Check Engine actually is a movie. It's a short film from, the podcast that I did, was learning to understand it a little bit more. It's a short film based on addressing the stigmas around men's mental health. So suicide is one of those things, but men's mental health is such a diverse topic, just like mental health is in itself, right? So you have women's mental health, and you have men's mental health, you have children's mental health. The movie is loosely based on the story of one of our close friends, Gary, who passed away last November of heart disease, unfortunately. But he was going through a divorce, and he was going through all the stresses and the challenges of that. And the statistics on people that are going through divorce, it's basically 1 in 4 males will not make it And
where does
it's
the
huge.
stat from? Like
That stat is actually it's a global stat. It's a global stat. Okay. Yeah, if you go to the Canadian Mental Health Association, you can also go to the I got that stat from the UK mental health, right across the board. Like it's
I guess we're diving into the two topics here: his boxing and the mental health, and the movie Check Engine. Yeah, keep going. Right?
So, it's like, well, it's a topic that I'm very, very passionate about, men's mental health, and we can talk about men's mental health being ADHD, or men's mental health being stress, depression, alcoholism, addictions. That's a whole bunch of different things where that is in this whole realm of men's mental health. But the movie itself, Check Engine, is based on the stigmas surrounding male mental health. Like guys on motorcycles, shouldn't be crying. Guys shouldn't be talking about, their worries about life, about finances, about anything like that. So yeah, that's what Check Engine is all about. Yeah,
we well, Jason and I, we did a podcast earlier about men's mental health, because short version, his journey's been kind of it's what a lot of those guys have been going through. He's COVID basically put him through the ringer, one of his businesses didn't make it due to all the circumstances surrounding COVID.
My main business didn't make it.
And then from there was a domino effect, that kind of derailed Jason's life. But a lot of people's we talked about this last time on that podcast, but so many people they their lives fall apart and they don't have the will to bring it back, if you will, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's just something I've kind of noticed with the whole men's mental health thing. It's I don't know, maybe it's just old school thinking or something like that, but you're supposed to figure it out no matter what. Whatever your problem is, you got to figure it out. But there's something to that as well. I mean, I don't want to rehash everything we talked about in the previous pod, because we covered quite a bit on that one. And my feelings haven't changed. Maybe I'll put the link in the show notes there. Good. But but Check Engine specifically, what it's loosely based on your Gary's life. You said
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. So what essentially what I don't know, what's the message that you think they're going to be? What are they trying?
The message is you can't get through this shit alone. And
you can't get through it alone.
Cannot. No. You have to reach out, and it doesn't matter. There's a big stigma against guys going to therapy, right off the bat. If you're going to therapy, man, you're weak.
Yeah.
Right. If I do the therapy, I go through therapy. There's a lot of guys that I hang out with now that have gone through therapy, and that's the answer is the same every time. Therapy helps, right? But then there's some guys that aren't ready for therapy. So they go to different forms of distractions. So, on one end, you'll go to the bottle, right? You'll go to booze, and you'll go to drugs, and you'll go, and this is where you go down the slippery rope of maybe addictions, right? And then there's other people, if you talk to friends, your close friends, and this is where I highlight close friends, because not all your friends that you hang out with, want to absorb such of that negative energy, right? And
everyone's going through their own stuff, exactly, and maybe they just don't have the capacity to. Because right now things are tough out there. In it's in a weird way. I don't know. We have food, shelter, clothing, so that's basically no point in history have people consistently had that, even if you're super poor and broke.
Exactly.
Even if you're homeless, technically there's ways to get food, shelter.
Basics.
There's centers that at least give you one meal a day or something like that. But I think it's the idea in your head of what is success, and how it's very hard to attain right now. It's hard, within just the way the world has become, just based on just how complicated money's become with inflation, interest rates, cost of living, and then I would even just how things are changing.
And I think
rapidly.
Sorry to interrupt. I think in our last podcast we talked about it. Inflation happens. The cost of stuff happens, right? Inflation isn't new, right? When kingdoms needed to build a new castle, what do? They threw taxes at everybody, right? And they raised the prices on everybody. So, basically the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. And, if you fast forward that today, there is, in my opinion, there is no difference, right? Like, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And it's all mindset at the end of the day. Like, you can choose to, fall down and not get up.
That's interesting because like Magda, for instance, like that guest on your pod, and I got Magda on the pod.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Stampede.
Yes,
yeah, but we barely got a chance to talk on her skills because we kind of got distracted with Stampede stories, and the pod ended up being a completely different thing. That so I got to get her back on, but I don't know, man. I do agree with that because of that famous quote that said, "It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it," because like it is fiction in a way, I mean. Like you're kind of a perfect example of that. Yeah, like when you went through your shit, like you basically lost everything. Like Jason basically lost everything in COVID. After everything he built towards, like because they say, like as in,
I'm filing for bankruptcy. Let's be honest. I'm filing for bankruptcy.
But there's
you lose everything.
There's 4 like things they say that makes a traditional man happy. It's like being in shape, having a family. Having a good home, as in the home accompanies like a wife,
having a safe
family, and then having a purpose, right? It's like that purpose is usually their career or whatever. Like that thing that makes a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Like your business essentially got derailed because, during COVID, you were expanding and the deals you have in place was the business was supposed to get bought out. Because as it expanded, and then you would have made a killing off that.
Well, I'm a business person, right? At the end of the day, and I positioned it. I built it over almost 10 years, right, to position it to be bought by a larger company.
Yeah,
and we were positioning for that, and we were basically working on that, and we invested, borrowed. Right, borrowed to expand, and basically we went from a two and a half treatment room to an 11 treatment rooms, and a full lobby and everything. And we signed the lease for that in 2019. And we moved in 2020, like February 2020, and then we had to shut down our doors. 6 weeks later.
Yeah, because you were deemed not a primary business.
We weren't an essential service.
Essential service.
Yeah.
But the domino effect from that, like when that like when your lifestyle from that world got derailed, it affected the home life. Then Absolutely. It affected which is like because it puts strain on just put strain on everything, from personal to relationships.
It messes with the guy's mind. And this is the mental health of it. It's like, you've got a mortgage to pay, you've got a business, you've got a family to raise, and here you are I was peddling my wares online, just like with everybody else that was in the business, like 50% off, 60% off, 75% off. We were losing money left and right. Right. And, we were bleeding money. So those of us that in 2019 decided, hey, you know what, we're on a good trajectory for expansion. We took the risk. And as business people, that's what we do. We take business, we take risk.
Entrepreneurship is risk taking.
It is risk taking. And,
risk taking and problem solving.
Exactly. Yeah.
But dude, I don't think you did anything wrong. Who could have saw COVID, right?
Nobody saw it.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it. No.
That thing. So many businesses went under because of that.
Oh, absolutely.
That thing.
There's still businesses going under today.
Yeah,
because of it.
Everyone just barely. I mean, the domino effect of that chaos. But when your foundation was rocked, which was your purpose, it affected your fam, and then it affected your body, your health. Absolutely. It was this domino effect. And I don't know, man, like when we talk off air about mental health, to be down for a little bit, I don't think that's abnormal. You know what I mean? It's just like,
it's not, but it's dangerous. So the movie's name is Check Engine, right? So check check the engine, check yourself, right?
Yeah. Check your engine, basically.
My words to be honest with you was when I was thinking of suicide, I called it checking out. I just wanted to check out. I just wanted to check out of this world. Because, the problems were just so unbearable that you're like, oh, I'm in this hole of debt. I've ruined every relationship I've ever had with like, my clients, my family, my kids, my ex-wife. Like it's like, so you're just you hit rock bottom and you just don't know how to crawl out of there. And so I was saying, check out. And I said, I could count on my hands since 2015, the 4 times that I said I want to check out of this world. Mm. Right. So Check Engine, like I'm going to bring it back to Check Engine. That's actually, I kind of like the name of that movie. It's like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The, I don't know, man. Like what you went through is not, it's unfortunately, it's not unique either. No, because people at the end of the day, that's the hard part, right? It's to remind yourself, like, think of it this way. This is like something that I do think about. It's like our ancestors from all documented history, like every day it was the entire day to find food.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they didn't have a car and a house and whatever. And like, it's,
hunters and gatherers.
Hunting and gathering. So if they can, in that simplistic way, it's more culture, because back then that was what was normal to be deemed like, valuable in your tribe and society, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just be able to hunt and provide. But it's like here, it's like we still have food, shelter, clothing, because even if you lost everything, like there's like you personally were not going to be a homeless guy. You have family, you have friends, you have there was a time, and then there is a thing called bankruptcy, which is like bankruptcy doesn't like it allow you to not be able to eat. You know what I mean? You can still eat. So what I'm trying to understand is like, because I study a lot of highly successful people, and I love studying that shit. It's like a passion of mine too, just looking at biographies. And I'm like, man, all these guys, like they probably went through something like this, what you're going through, but how do they react, right? Because like it's at the end, it's how do you control that narrative in your mind?
Yeah,
because it's like, because that you can control. You can, but how do you change the way you look at it until it becomes a different reality? Because Donald Trump had bankruptcies.
Yep, exactly.
But you never saw him not in a suit, if you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
There's like Francis Ngannou, like the UFC heavyweight, former UFC heavyweight champion. Like his life story is insanity, man. Like trying to get over from Cameroon over to Europe to get over, like, and getting deported back over and over, and not quitting there. I mean, the story of like immigrants, like just illegally getting into the US to make a life, the stories of ex-drug dealers who did what they had to do to like provide for their family and to go legit later. I mean, like there's endless examples of people who've had total, like what look like insurmountable challenges overcome. And it's
I like Dwayne Johnson's story.
Yeah.
Ex-Stampeders.
Yeah.
Right? Like
$7 in his pocket, right?
Exactly. Yeah. He came out here, he's like, played for the Stamps, and then, I think he played a couple of games for the Stamps.
Yeah.
And then he was living in his car and all this stuff. And then he decided, hey, you know what? I can do better. And he met the Hart family here. And this is where, the Hart family here in Calgary, and, the wrestling, where wrestling was founded, right here in Calgary.
Yeah.
Right. And so he decided to go from CFL football to wrestling.
Yeah.
And look where he is now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's he didn't quit. At the end of the day, like that's like, what is quitting? At the end of the day, quitting, it doesn't mean like, I quit my job, I quit. Like it means like quitting up here, like stopping trying to get better, like and I don't want to be too cryptic. I like perfect examples is like quitting would be like you stop working out. You know what I mean? Or you don't try to work out anymore. Or like they're like, well, it's easy. For you to say you still got food. Okay, fine. But then that's your next mission. Like every moment becomes your next mission. Like it's like, hey, you got to work out. You got to find the good food. You got to find a way to pay for that. Boom. Like your problems get neutralized again to the moment to moment. You know what I mean? Like it's like don't quit. Right?
The word they use, journey, right? The journey is not always going to be, you're always going to be at the top. You're not always going to be on the bottom. It's like, it's like me riding my bike here today. There's uphills and downhills, and you know what? When you're going uphill, you have to work a little bit harder.
Yeah.
When you're downhill, enjoy the cruise. Like, it's like, oh, good.
Fully,
get some rest or whatever. So, and that's what I find, anyways, in my opinion, life is all about. Like I'm just starting my journey. I haven't reached, the status where I want to be. With, does that mean money? Not necessarily, but money helps a lot, especially with the expenses these days, right? So
yeah, well, like, no, don't kid anyone. Like, it's not really about money per se, like the actual currency, like, because
exactly.
that thing ultimately is a form of energy, right?
Yes.
It's about like it's a reflection of just how you're navigating through life, like, I mean, if money becomes crypto next, then I guess that's the next thing, that's the new energy or whatever. So but dude, like, I'm giving you a lot of respect, because like you didn't quit. Yes, you thought about it, you thought about killing yourself, but like, you didn't do it. Okay.
Yeah, but you're giving me too much credit, because there's lots of days that even within this past week that I wanted to quit, like not check out, but quit and just say, hey, you know what?
Just be lazy.
Let it win. Let whatever it is win. Let it get me. And then then that's what I've learned is, when I start feeling like that, it means I haven't gotten any sleep. Right?
Probably.
I haven't gotten any sleep, and maybe I drank a little bit too much booze, right? Because booze is a depressant. And you wake up and you feel like shit the next morning. You're like, fuck, the world's just pardon me.
Work out right away, man.
Exactly.
No, like,
right?
Like, next time that happens, just work out right away. Your body, instantly you get the blood flowing, you'll send back out endorphins. Like,
some days I'm lazy, man, and I just don't want to do that.
Right? Just get up and just start doing it.
But I'm blessed. I have 2 crazy big dogs.
Yeah,
and they're the ones that wake me up in the morning.
Yeah,
like at 5 a.m. like clockwork. It doesn't matter if they don't care if I was out till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
at 5 a.m. like they're gonna be like saying, "Hey, Dad, like, get us out.
Yeah,
we got so much energy because you had to sleep for the last 8 hours."
Yeah,
so that's thank goodness for those. Those are my 2 little blessings right there.
The well, that's why I want to talk to Magda again, because like, she talks about mindfulness and like just there's a lot of, I don't want to call it woo-woo stuff, because like, I've seen it work. Like,
the woo-woo stuff works.
It's real.
Call it woo-woo. It's like it's energy. It's recognizing
law of
energy.
attraction, things like that. Like the imagine, like, go in the past when things were going well for you, it's because you're mentally projecting positivity, and then it attracted positivity, right? Now but that's the thing with life. People that knock on the idea of the law of attraction, they're like, oh, well, things are going good, now it's not. Like, what do you say to that? It's like, dude, it's not that law is not 24/7. No, my bad. That law is not everything. Like, it goes, but then there's obstacles, like but it still plays off of that, right? And it's always a test. If you're going through a hard time, man, I keep, like, I write little mantras in my notebook in my phone, but like, one of them is to remind myself, like, look, like, every moment that if you feel like shit, because of things just aren't going your way, like, that is the test.
Yeah.
That is what champions are made of. You have to fucking, like, you're at least getting the chance to get tested like that.
Yeah.
To see if you have championship mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so, and then, I don't know, but there's never ending people that are just like, they can't even fathom going through that stress. They're positioned so safely but it will happen to them. Cause like, one day society might collapse Mad Max style, and there's wars everywhere, and then you're going to see so many people not be able to, like, they're going to crumble, right?
There is actually, I don't know, like, if you go down that, down that route, there still is a predicted,
apocalypse.
Depression.
Yeah.
Depression is going to happen, right? Like, for all intents and purposes, the world, the world powers and the world economy is at an imbalance at this moment right now.
Yep.
And I go back to, like, you write down these mantras. Well, I actually got my mantra tattooed on me, right? So it's live life playing. I got this tattooed on me, and I don't know if you ever read that book. There's actually a Japanese artist that he wrote both negative and positive words on a bottle of water, and then they froze the water. And Matsumoto.
Oh, you're talking about the Book of Seven Rings, Miyamoto Musashi?
Oh, maybe it's not Musashi. I can't remember what it is. But, anyway. But basically, what he did was he took a bottle of water, and he put on one was hate, and the other one was love, and then they froze the water, and they put it under microscope, and you saw how ugly the ice crystals that formed where hate was, and then where there was love, it was like beautiful. So it's just, there's something to, the mantras. There's something to creating that positive energy for yourself that helps. And I found that ever since I put this tattoo on, if I have a shitty day, I was like, life is the first thing I see, right? And then I just remember, live life playing. It's like, you know what? Sometimes you're going to be winning, sometimes you're going to be losing, and no matter what, it's a game, right,
dude? Like take a look at Francis Ngannou again. I'm bringing him up because I just listened to his Rogan podcast, man. Like, so he went from all of his ups and downs, right? Like, but let's take a look at his last year of his life. He went from leaving the UFC as the champion, like, because there was so much drama with negotiating his next fight, to transitioning to boxing and nearly beating Tyson Fury. Okay. And then he gets to fight Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua knocked him out, but after listening to Rogan podcast, there was a lot of dirty behind the scenes shit that was done to, like,
I gotta listen to this podcast.
Oh yeah. But then, so Francis went from undefeated, like MMA champ, undisputed, losing 2 of his pro boxing fights in a row and through the transition. And then we find out that his 15-year-old baby son dies. You know what I mean? Shit. And his son was like he explained that 15 months was like, he was like, that's everything I ever realized why I fight. I fight is for this. And then it got taken away. And then, Francis even explains how, he thinks about his life, because he's like, why all those hardships, the ups and downs, trying to even make it from Cameroon to Europe, whereas, someone else was born in the US and way easier journey, like no money, homeless at one point, like, people making fun of him, even though he was like tall and jacked, like he has some talent. They're just like, people just doubting that he can put it together and turn it into an MMA fighter, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's like, but at the end of the day, he just did the thing that we're talking about here, man. Like the mental health part, like he has a championship mentality. He didn't quit. Like he just always looked for the solutions every minute, and he focused his attention on that.
Yep.
So that he even said the one thing that was really funny. He was like, man, if I sit on my couch, my thoughts just think of my son right now over and over and over. He's like, I just don't allow myself to think. He's like, I just get my shoes
Keep
on.
Keep yourself distracted.
But not distracted like you're running away.
No.
Like,
that's what I call it. I call it distraction.
Yeah. I guess I don't like that word, because distraction sounds like you're in denial. Like you're kind of like, okay. Like I like to just say focus.
Okay.
Focus on something else.
True.
Focus on things you can control right away. So he right away focuses on gym. He focuses on, I don't know what he lists.
I'm not going to argue with him with that. Have you seen how big this guy's muscles are? They're freaking huge, dude.
Huge. No, Francis Ngannou.
No, you. No, you're showing me pictures of your fights like previously. Dude, I'm not messing with you.
No, but anyway, like, Anyway, dude. But I just stay busy. You're doing that, man. Like, it's so important to stay busy. When I say busy, it has to be like, the busy thing has to like it has to take up your whole mind.
Yes.
And productive busy, like something, like,
productive busy, goal setting, trying new things.
Like you right now, you're about to go into boxing. Like, like that's not your thing, but you're doing it. I mean, you played hockey, you've been in hockey fights, but now you're stepping up to, combat sports style.
My hockey fights are pretty crappy too.
Well, hey, like right now, but even though you're in your bankruptcy, look at all the stuff. Like, you're still working.
Yes.
You still have income coming in.
Yes.
You're still getting after it. Like, you're still podcasting. In fact, you're going to be doing some clinic aesthetic stuff again very soon here.
Very soon, yeah.
At a lower operation level, but like,
we're starting from scratch again.
Yeah, like absolutely. It's like, and look, dude, I partied with you during Stampede, man. Like, you had some fun, like
13 out of 10 days, the goal was 10 out of 10. I did 13 out of 10. Yes, sir.
Yeah, like, I mean, you had fun again. And I mean, it's like,
it's living your best life. Like, when you read all the things and people like I'm living my best life, because they've come to a point where, like, you know what, I can be sad about this. I can be the victim about this. And, if you make yourself the victim, and this is, what therapy has taught me, and, is don't be a victim, right? Like, accept, it's called radical acceptance. So radically accept your situation, right? The only thing that you can change about it, is really your attitude, right? Again, mindset. Mindset.
Sorry to interrupt. The attitude part, it's, the one thing I can mention that I can relate to that is, like, the attitude part. It's hard when no one's around. that's when it's super fucking hard.
Absolutely.
Because I swear, like, we all have a bit of they call, like, I think it's called dramaturgy in sociology. I might be trying to sound snobby smart here, but because like I do have a sociology minor, but it's this theory that we all are actors in some capacity. So the instant you leave your door and you're out in public, like, you're acting. You know what I mean? Like so it's like the dramaturgy is easier to activate when you're with people, because like you're in direct interactions. When you're in private, like, can you continue that to, like, fake it till you make it? Like, will yourself?
You can't. At some point you run out of energy, and that's when I've learned to rest and, and set boundaries. Like, there's so many people coming at you at all these different points. Like, like you said, I'm involved in a whole bunch of different things. But then there comes a time where, I partied myself out, or I wore myself out. I've been working, like, I started working out, and I'm starting to train for this boxing fight. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm tired. So, like, let's leave this till tomorrow, right? Just give me a day of rest. And this is, again, I say, and I've learned as well, if you have, if you're not sleeping, right? Like, some people are like, oh yeah, I can run on, 2 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep. I thought I was that guy too, right? But the body needs its rest. The body, like, when you're sleeping, the body is re-energizing and regenerating all the cells that it needs to do. So imagine you're, for 13 out of 10 days, partying, and then, you're not getting any sleep. You maybe get 3-4 hours of sleep. Yeah. And you're back at the same thing all over again.
The only thing different about the Stampede, the raw 13-day partying. Exactly. But the Stampede is also, the energy is different in the air. Like,
that's Calgary. That's Calgary energy.
Like that party energy brings you up too. But it's like, but you couldn't do that on a non-event period, right? No. I do. Yeah, I know people need sleep for sure. And, like, it does suck hard that some people get that nice genetic mutation where they only need 5 hours. And, like, I personally need 8, and I'm not getting 8. And I do feel that, that's where I'm just using pure willpower. But you're right. Like, it does drain you after a while. Like, there's some days now where, I'll sleep 5 hours for multiple days in a row. But then one day it's like the entire day's a wash. Like I'm asleep basically the entire day, getting up just to eat, maybe a quick half-hour workout. And then I'm back. Like, can't stay awake because my body's just like, it just hit max capacity. That I think anyway.
Sleep is like energy. It's like gas tank. Like, it's like,
but I don't.
You can only run on so much. You can,
But I don't know. Like, David Goggins is someone, like, I really follow a lot. Do you know David Goggins?
No.
Oh, dude, man. I will turn you to his stuff the instant we're done here. He's just not on your feed, but if he's on your feed, he's world famous. Like, as far as his following, like, millions and millions of followers. But David Goggins is an ex-UFC Navy SEAL, but his mindset, because he does ultra marathons nonstop, and he, like, works out all the time, but he's a businessman, and, like, but he's all about willpower, and he literally has unlimited energy basically because of that willpower. And like we're trickier than we seem, man. Like, it's like, I know sleep's important, but I swear a lot of when I think of men's mental health or mental health period, I'm trying to understand how to dominate your own mind.
Sure.
That's what I get out of mental health. Like what, like, cause what do you think mental health means?
Mental health is just wellness of your mind.
Yeah.
Healthiness of your mind. Right.
Okay.
Mental health is, gosh, like, for all intents and purposes, is like, there's cola, right? There's different brands of cola. Mental health is, there's different brands of mental health. So for me, it's that wellness of the mind, right? And things have to be balanced. I'm in like a
holistic
exactly style. Yeah, it's like, there's an equilibrium that happens within our body, right? It's like, if one is, our bodies are the most complicated machines in the whole wide world, and we don't treat, like, including myself, right? And we don't treat our bodies the way that we treat some of our most prized cars, right? Like as well as we do, right? So, or some of our most prized motorcycles, like, some of our vehicles, right? Like, we change the fluids on our vehicles. We, feed it the proper gas, feed it proper octane gas and all the fun stuff. But when it comes to our bodies, we could give, we could, like, I know I've abused it, right? And, and where I'm going with this is, I will admit, one of the things that have changed my energy levels is actually starting TRT. Mm-hmm. Right. And, a guy that's 48 years old, turning 49 this year, I couldn't afford TRT last year. And, thank goodness. And, for, the work that I've done, like I've been able to, be able to afford it this year. Mm-hmm. And I started this year, and
well, you better be able to afford it for the rest of your life.
Change has been crazy. Yeah. Like, the change has been insane. My energy has been like up. There's along the other things that come with it. It's like, sometimes you're a little bit even more competitive, right? And that's that's what as teenagers with a whole bunch of testosterone, we all went through that. We were pretty competitive, right? So, so somewhere along the line, as we age, testosterone production slows down, and that affects not only our physical, but it also affects our mental health.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And
it's literally your life force.
Yes,
it really is, man.
So I'm finding that, hey, you know what? And I tested it, like this Stampede 10 for 10. I was like, oh, you know what? Let's keep going. Just make sure I'm doing the right things. I'm resting, hydrating, and and doing
but that's a funny life hack about that is because think about it. When you're sleeping, is to replenish things like your testosterone.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, but if you have it artificially put in at the nice same levels, and you're using the right oils to like release timing wise for your body type, and you're doing your blood work to find the right dose every week, like you don't need to sleep as much.
No.
You know what I mean? Like the sleep is more of a break from your stress or whatever. Yeah. But, it's a cool life hack, but obviously when you just said a moment ago, you had me a bit concerned, man, because you said, oh, I can afford it this year. You have to afford it every year now.
You have to afford it every year.
Because absolutely, your own production is probably shut down now for the rest of your life. Because you're 48.
It's supplementing. Right? It's supplementing. So,
but as you get older, on top of giving it artificial, like your known levels might go to point of non-existent, like because you're already older, right? Like
it's not necessarily how the science works.
Really?
Yeah. I'd say, what we are, if we were, if we were a cake, right? A brand new cake is like sweet. It's got like, 3 cups of sugar or whatever, right? As that cake gets older, you're down to 2 cups of sugar. You need to add, extra additives. That's what you're doing. You're adding that extra cup of sugar.
But okay. But it does, based on my research, it's like it does shut down your own ability to
production.
To produce.
I don't believe in that. Like, you know what? Mm-hmm. If that's what happened, then a lot of the guys that are on TRT today, right? And then they stop all of a sudden.
They shrink huge.
They shrink, absolutely. Yeah.
Like if you're just talking about working out, because some people don't use it to work out. They just use to have it in their life.
Yeah. But when you're working out, you naturally stimulate your own testosterone. Right?
So if you're I don't want to get this into a TRT one.
It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, no, but okay. But either way, like I'll be on that shit as I get older if I feel like I need.
You might too. You might. Yeah. Right? I'm not saying it's for everybody, but some people need it, some people don't. Like it's a.
But I've noticed a change in you after knowing you since like it's only been like 6-7 months of knowing you, but like I've watched you jump on it, and like it's like your mood's definitely like way better. Like your outlook's way better. Like
I've stopped my antidepressants. That's the other sign that's been good.
So you replaced it with TRT.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, I was on antidepressants, and and as you slowly switch from balancing, like, testosterone is just another hormone, right? So if you're balancing out your hormones there, like there's a whole formula to it, and I'm going to leave the professionals to talk about that. Like Dr. Janae and from Zulu, to talk about that, and from the guys at Rufus and such. But I understand it. It's their job to monitor my levels, and that's I think the point that I'm going to there is, what, you can't, again, I'm bringing it back. You can't go through life alone. You need a community.
Oh yeah.
Right. So in training, and in training for this fight, I have nutritionists. That's Magda. Right. I have my couple of my boxing coaches. You're also coaching me a little bit on some of the punches, because you saw me punch like it's kind of weak punches. I'm learning from each piece that everybody gives me, right? Like, I'm not saying like I'm going to adapt one style and what style.
Yeah.
But it's, you need a team, you need a community of people, a tribe, right? You tell them your goal. And it's funny how people rise to, that the occasion.
Well, you're giving your purpose is giving a bunch of people other purpose too, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you endeavoring to take this fight on has brought in a camp. And now each person's interests and hobbies are now like.
I keep thinking it's because you guys are like saying, you know what, you're going to get crammed out there, which I think I will if I don't.
I never said that.
If I stop training.
I never said. No, hold on. Yeah. I like, dude. I don't. I never said. I don't. It's not that. I believe in you, dude.
That's how I'm. That's how I'm saying. Hey, you know what? If you guys want to see me get clobbered, buy a ticket to this thing, right?
Oh man, dude, that's the wrong mindset. No, you're like, this is a perfect chance to train hardcore self-belief.
Absolutely.
You like believe you can win. I don't know, man. It's like playing any sport. Like you go in to win.
True. So true.
But then there's the practical aspect. Like, are you training every day? Are you are you getting your 3 meals in a day of good like food, as in like good lean protein? I mean, the nutrition thing, so many people argue about it. But basically, are you at least making sure you're not taking in excess sugar, candy, carbs, like flour, too much flour?
Yeah.
Are you making sure that you're not taking in too much like deep fried oils? Are you making sure you're not taking in too much like alcohol? That's basically it, because everything else is kind of good for you and you use it. Are you getting your 8 hours of sleep for the mind and the break for the body? Then are you training your fucking 3 hours a day, dude? Like, are you getting in those sparring rounds? Are you running? Are you lifting? Are you know what I mean? Like,
I'm doing something. I'm active. Like, and that's I'm being active, and that's I would have to say, because boxing is a new sport for me. And I try something new every year, right?
I like that about you.
And, I try something new every year. And, this year, actually, skydiving. I skydived out of a plane, right? So that was first for me for this year, too. So I'm living my best life, and
living life thing.
Living my life thing, exactly. But, boxing, I was like, hey, you know what? Let's give this a try. Like, I knew that when I was going through my mental health struggles back in 2015, the thing that got me out of my rut was hockey. Right. I learned how to play hockey. I learned how to, play hockey so that I just wasn't behind, dropping my kid off at hockey. It's so I can actually get on the ice and get more ice time. And, and I developed to be, I was playing, throwing pucks, and I became, ice helper, and then became like assistant coach, and then second head coach and stuff. And like, I'm pretty passionate about hockey. And, but then, that part of it's like too close to me. So this is where I'm trying a different sport this year. It's like, let's do boxing, right? And boxing, like, it's I find it funny, when what's that Tyson and Jake Paul fight. Like, they've had to reschedule it. It's now scheduled in November.
Yeah, well, Tyson had an ulcer.
Yeah, exactly. But he's an old man. Like, he's like 50 something.
I hate what's going on with that whole situation. Mike's too old, man.
We'll see, right?
He just had an ulcer training for this thing, basically.
But financially, guess what? They're both going to come out of it winners.
Jake's really rich already, so I don't get like what his true motive is for this, other than continuous.
Put down the old man.
Well, that's why I don't like, man. I'm like, but then it's funny. I was talking to someone, and they pointed out, like, because as complicated as the Paul brothers are, as far as their morals.
I don't know them from Adam, like, at all. Like,
oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm younger than you. That's why I know about them a little bit more. But then people who are younger than me really know about them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like they're from like so many different avenues, man. Yeah. But just know they've done some heinous shit in the past, like stuff that you would think you would never want to hear from them again, kind of stuff.
Really? Yeah. They get canceled? Is that what you're saying?
For a bit, but he found his way back because they're savvy behind the scenes. Like, they're constantly networking. Like, they're business geniuses.
Okay, yeah.
Like, there's no denying.
They're marketing geniuses.
And they always find a way to get where they need to be to put themselves in the position. And they do work hard physically. Yeah. They're both athletes, but it's classic. Like I don't know. Didn't you know the Logan Paul Japan thing? Right? Logan wanted so much exposure for his like social media. He like went to the suicide forest in Japan, which is a very sacred, touchy area. Yeah. Like, people literally commit suicide there. And he filmed this dude committing suicide.
Really?
Yeah. Shit. And then just to have it on
just
his
so
channel.
he has his channel.
Yeah, but he exploited it in so gross of a way, like, and then he like, it was just so disrespectful, man. Like, it's obviously
absolutely.
you know, and then Jake Paul just literally his everything he does is so ew.
But it's all for the show. It's all for the show. Like, this is what
I guess I don't know what makes them tick, man. Like, I don't truly know what motivates them. Like,
but now we're talking about them.
No,
now there's a fight. You know, people are going to pay pay-per-view fees to watch this fight.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, the Netflix, I've never paid to watch Jake Paul fight. Unfortunately, I have to know what happens as a combat sports nut. So, well, I just don't want to support him. I don't like the guy. Like, I'll never be in his realm, I suppose. Maybe that's me thinking small, but like, nor would I want to. Like, I have different goals. My goal is never to be so huge to be in that realm, dealing with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because I don't know. I just get so unhappy whenever I see him do stuff. Like, it's like, it's like well,
I didn't, like I said, I don't know him from Adam, so
well, just all you need to know is, like, this is his fight record right now in boxing. It's like he fights guys that are he always sets up his advantage. Like they have to be old, retired MMA guys that boxing is not their true art that they study. He finds guys that either have crippling injuries, or old, or have like he knows behind the scenes needs the cash. Yeah, you know, he exploits. The massive exploiter.
There's the word that, you know, that's from that perspective, them being exploitive. That's, you know,
but these same guys bite on it. They all bite on it because that just shows you what kind of, like, it just sucks that you know. And
but would it make it sweeter that Tyson kicks his ass?
Man, I really hope to see that.
Exactly.
But I mean,
but I don't want to see Tyson get a heart attack.
It's highly unlikely,
right?
I mean, it's possible, but Mike Tyson is not. He's not the same Mike Tyson who is 20 years old.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely
if that guy fought Jake Paul now, Jake Paul would be dead.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly. Not him. He's 60 years old, or 58, but close enough. Yeah. And he literally just had an ulcer training for this fight. Jake Paul's in this prime of his life.
An ulcer, man. Like, you know what? He's like, you know, it's like an ulcer's ulcer. That's not major. Like, if he had,
isn't that from stress?
It's stress, absolutely.
Okay, so Mike's so stressed from training. I'm not saying emotionally, but like, he stressed his body so hard he had an ulcer. Like,
exactly, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
that's kind of a wimpy excuse. Like, I to be honest, I gotta say that's a wimpy excuse to delay the time. Right? He wants to train some more.
It could be a more myriad of maybe like every day his back seizes on him and he needs 2 hours of massaging to loosen it up so he can even get in there. Like, you know, like it's just science, man. He's old. He's way old. Past his fucking prime, man. Like,
but you know
that's why it's so gross to see this.
Let's let we see where we're gonna bet here now, right? I'm betting for Tyson.
No, hey, fine, same here. I'm betting for Tyson. One Tyson wins. Like that's like all power there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, especially if you give me this guy, this guy's dirty. Like,
but the reality is, like, Jake Paul is a 27-year-old primed out athlete with every advantage thrown his way right now. Like, Mike doesn't have the same resources as Jake Paul. Like, Jake Paul's rich as fuck, right? True. And on top of it, like, the props you do have to give Jake is that he does actually work hard. Like, he's putting in the hours in the gym, and he's refining everything. Like, I don't know, but even when I watched him box Mike Perry the other day, I was like, like, if you box another pro boxer, like, you see the difference in the skill, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just Mike Perry's not a true boxer either. He's a bare knuckle fighter, MMA brawler. You know,
there you go.
So it was very easy for Jake to find those angles and just pummel him. And so
and boxing is a completely different sport, right? Like, I think you would agree. Like, it's timing, it's speed, and you know what? A little bit of luck, because you hit those pressure points enough times, get that person tired. Yeah. If he's 27, if he's like whatever, if they're training for their body, right, to make sure that they can last those rounds, right? At the end, it's who tires out first. Yeah. Right. Or who gets a lucky shot, like, to those different nerves, and to knock them out.
Yeah. Right? There's Hail Marys. Like, there's like Francis Ngannou just said in the Rogan podcast, like, every fight there's no 0% chance of, like, no way you lose.
Exactly.
Anyone can lose. This is like we're humans, we're brittle, we're vulnerable. Like, you know, just find this right here somehow. You know what I mean? Like, and hit it. Yeah. But
this is fun. I've never been able to talk about fights until today.
Oh, dude, this is like basically
this is your thing. Yeah.
I love it. Like, combat sports is my true passion, actually, behind everything. Like, like yeah, I mean the goal is to like I dream some days of fucking being Dana White somehow because like his world, but like I don't even begin to know how to handle the shit that he has to deal with. Me when you did Dana White's story is so inspiring because of like, I mean, people just focus on the fighter pay issue, but I'm like, how about the entrepreneur?
Yeah,
how much shit this guy went through to get the right connections he needed to meet. Everyone's like, oh, the Fertitas, the billionaires paid for everything. So it's like, but he had to develop that relationship, have them trust him. Like there's a whole thing that.
Yeah. See, you fanboy on fighters and business people in fighting.
Yeah.
I fanboy on business people and businesses. Like, you know what? Like your Apple, you guys at Apple, you guys with, you know, I can't even mention their names right now, but, you know, the Google. No, yeah, exactly. The guys like Google and, you know, all these guys, Microsoft, all these big business, like Amazon, like that's what I fanboy about. Like before, like, you know, before, like I do like sports, but I didn't like sports enough to know who the top player was. Like, you know,
it depends.
You know, Michael Jordan was, you know, all these things.
I don't know every sport.
Yeah.
I just, the ones I'm into, like you do so many things, man. You probably have 100 different hobbies and interests, but I would say they're all at like 8 out of 10 peak curiosity, right?
Yes.
Me, I'm like, I like 4 things, but the curiosity in them is like 20 out of 10, you know, and
I'm a jack of all trades, or, you know, Jason of all trades, master of none. So it's like, it's all, you know, and you got to taste it all, you know.
But I like that because like it's guys like you that will like that. They ultimately help someone like me because like I can like, hey, I'm curious about this situation. Like you seem to know everyone. Like you have a way of networking, so I can just be like, hey, Jason, like, you know,
been in Calgary a long time, and you know, been in Botox and fillers, so I've met like a long time. So I've met lots of people along that
way. Sorry, we got totally lost in all you do is bring up that Jake Paul guy, and I'm like,
I see that. I triggered something in you. That's
Jake could fuck me up. So it's like, that sucks. That sucks. Like, I don't know. Again,
but guess what? If you let him fuck you up, you still get paid.
No, I don't.
You would still get paid.
It's just so gross. There better be a better narrative for why that has to happen. You know, I hope that I keep growing as a person. That makes such an impact.
I keep saying it's about getting paid. It's not. It's not about the money. And you know, like I've been there. I've been there, and I know I can get there again, but this time I'm going to do things a little bit differently. And it's like, you know what, it's loving myself first. Right. And making sure that my boundaries are met. Like I think we talked about it in my modern dating section of the podcast. There are non-negotiables, right? And there are non-negotiables for me. And I think everybody has the right to have non-negotiables. Like, you know what? I've lived life. I've done this much in my life, you know, and now I want to see my life go this way. So if you're not in the same bus as me, then I'm sorry, then you're going to have to get off the bus. Right.
And honestly, that probably should have been the way it was the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I don't want to call it a mistake, but
that's not a mistake.
You had to go through that.
No.
Like I'm going through shit in my world too, where I'm like, well, I would not have known that no matter how much you try to drill it into my head.
Yeah.
At that point in time,
you have to walk it. You have to
that
walk
time.
It.
It sucks, and that's the thing I'm trying to avoid now with what's left of my life.
Yeah.
It's like, what thing can I just try your fucking best to listen to the people who are telling you ahead? Like, don't do it. Like, don't do that. Or like, trust me, it's not going to work. Like, because, you know, like you get overwhelmed sometimes with the positive thinking. You're like, anything's possible, man. Fuck the naysayers.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're like, no, like that guy was right. Like, don't do that.
You know what? It's all. You know, let some poison come in, but you got to recognize what the poison is, right? When the poison comes in, and you know, that's just. I guess that would be my suggestion if anybody asks. It's like, you know what? It's all the good, like, you know, it's like being on a diet, right? Eat all the healthy stuff, great. Mm-hmm. But you know what?
Hey, you're lost some weight, by the way.
Thank you. It's, you know,
I plan to do more pauses with you until your boxing match. I want people, even if they're quick 20, like I want people to keep gradually seeing the body transformation.
Okay, now you're definitely putting me on the you know, what's it called? Like, you're putting me under the microscope. Okay, I got it. You're helping me with my goals. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well,
thank you.
Awesome.
And that's what we got to do. We got to, you know, tell people what your goals are, people will rise to the occasion and say, hey, you know what? Let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Because I love to serve. And I think you've known that, you've seen that in me.
Mm.
I love to serve. And that's all I want to do is like, basically, I'm a Filipino. Of course I'm a nurse. We are here to serve, right? We want to serve mankind and we want to be good humans. And that's my only motivation to do the things that I do. And, for a moment there, my mind wasn't straight. I lost my mind literally. And, I lost my confidence and I lost everything because I was grasping at straws going, holy shit, I'm drowning. What am I going to do?
Hey, let me ask you this. Would you because say you get through, no, not say you got through this. You're going to get through, you're getting through this.
I'm getting through it.
You're getting through it.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward 5 years from now. Let's say boom in business again.
Yeah.
Another beautiful partner in your life. Great relationship with your kids once more, in shape. Still just traveling the world, meeting people. Your podcast has exploded. It's making a difference. You and I are still connecting and growing. 5 years from now, it's like you're back there. Would you be able to go through the fail again at that point psychologically, or is that one of those things where you're like, I just got to learn it once and that's enough?
It's a good question.
Because what if the rebound again? What if each rebound takes you to higher heights?
Then I'd be willing to do it.
Interesting.
That's what I've learned. It's like we all evolve in life, and it's just like and with my marriage, like we evolved into two different people, right? And that's we got to a point where we were no longer serving each other's purposes, right, in life, and that's when I called it. I was like, you know what? There's no point in us fighting over and over again. Like we're just grasping at straws here, just trying to.
You're no longer compatible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, so what? Let's call it what it is. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on counseling, right? Especially in 2020 when that's all you could do was go counseling. Go for counseling. Like what did we spend? Like I'm pretty sure we spent $80,000 in counseling.
I think the talking thing
with the same counselor,
it only has so much you can do. Because think about it. When you're talking, it needs to be precise and to the point, and then the rest of the time needs to be like action.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Otherwise you keep talking about it, you keep bringing it back up, and now it's like dwelling.
I think it was you that said something like or somebody. I picked it up somewhere where it is so true. If you go to therapy, and I like. To get through this, I was going through therapy every 2 weeks until recently. Now we're down to like every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's like you do get they call it you do get addicted to therapy because the only person that's listening to you and validating what you're saying is your therapist. You could be wrong or right or whatever. They always validate
get paid
you
for that.
Exactly.
Therapy should be like I used a therapy one time that was recommended to me, but I used 2 sessions. I used it directly to be like, because I couldn't get what I was feeling, as weird as that sounds. Because I was like, I can't sort out my thoughts, and like my immediate friends at the time and my family, they just weren't equipped to understand what I didn't realize what I was going through, and then it took that psychiatrist like boom, like identified it. I was like ding, and I was just like whoa,
I think you're,
and then I instantly changed my behavior, and I was like, I just canceled the rest of the sessions. I was like, the therapy needs to just be, it's supposed to design so you can talk, so you figure out exactly what you're feeling. Yeah. Then you can take action on it. Because like a lot of people they're so emotionally incomplete that they don't even know what they're feeling. Yeah. Like they don't get what is, say they got dumped, right?
Yeah.
They're not figuring out what is really going on there. Is it, oh, she's really the fucking top girl that's ever existed. You'll never find someone like her yet. Is it that? Or is it your ego? Because that was you at your best and you weren't good enough for someone that you thought would be like a reflection of you and where you're at in life. Then that means it's an ego issue. Or
it's an ego.
Or is it straight up sometimes just superficial? Like, whoa, that's the hottest chick I've ever been with, man.
Yeah. Well, psychology, ego. It's ego is a killer.
Oh yeah,
right. Ego is a killer because it's
ego is also life in a way.
It is life.
Manipulate it.
Yeah, well, there's the id and the ego, right? Mm-hmm. So, if you let the ego win, and then then definitely it'll guide you, it'll guide you wherever you want. This is called the law of attraction, right? With ego. So, you're attracting bad shit. You're going to attract bad shit all day long. And if you change the switch a little bit, right? Change the switch a little bit and, say, okay, let's do some positive stuff.
Well, Jason, that's kind of what I was trying to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Based on everything, we've talked a lot off the air about your life and like, it's like, I don't think you attracted the circumstance of your, in a parallel universe, you're probably still with your ex-wife and you probably would have grown together with your kids. It was like, there was like
in the multiverse world,
in the multiverse world. But in this one, like it was literally COVID. That one single event changed the entire trajectory of your existence.
For sure. Yeah.
So you basically had a random obstacle that changed your entire life trajectory. Now, I've never had that in my life. Yeah. So I'm sitting here like, but I'm observing because I just know what is tomorrow we can all get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
So it's like, because there's actually one of my mantras there. Like it's like in my thing to remind myself, like,
don't get hit by a bus.
Don't get hit by a bus. Yeah. Jerk off every day and don't get hit by a bus. No.
I tried on my inline skates yesterday. I almost got hit by a bus. No, a little taxi, Uber guy.
Oh, it's a jerk off. Yeah. But anyway, but
I did that too. It's all good.
Yeah. But no, it's to remind myself that what I said, like, be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And what that means to me is like, just know things are always can go towards like belly up. Everything can fucking fall apart at any second, and it's up to you at that point to be ready to go again.
I think you're old enough to remember a brand called No Fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No Fear. That is a brilliant marketing scheme. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
You know how much they sold in No Fear? I don't know.
Like they should have kept going.
They should have kept going. Like, I was like, I know what happened to Chip and Pepper. Remember Chip and Pepper?
I don't remember.
So anyways, Lululemon, the founders of Chip and Pepper founded Lululemon.
Okay.
Right? So see,
great job. They should deserve a Nobel Prize.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. That thing individually, I was like, wow. Like forget curing diseases. Like, give this guy the Nobel Prize.
But and then there was that whole scandal where they're like getting the cheap fabric from China and you can see through stuff. Like, hey, God bless. Anyways, we're being dudes here.
Yeah,
it's 428, and I wanted to bring up something before you. It was about therapy. Mm-hmm. So yes, therapy costs a lot, but here in Calgary, you can apply for a program, and even if you have no money, they call it basically. So it's on a sliding scale. So it's at the beginning of the year, I wasn't making very much money, and they ask you, well, what's your income? I was starting back with getting some income, and I said, like the minimum that you can pay is $10, like for a 90-minute session. I'm like, I'll take it. And you know what? That's been awesome. Now that I'm making a little bit more money, I pay a little bit more, but the help is out there. It's you just got to go. You got to know where to look for it. And if anybody is listening to this podcast and you're still lost, like Talks and Tonics podcast, and Shawn's podcast here as well. Like, we can get you all the resources. Cax Bar and podcast
show. Anyway, yeah. No, I don't. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, but that's like I just wanted to mention that before our final notes here.
Yeah. Sorry, today's episode we got to cut short a bit here. The studio has some other bookings here, but no, I plan to have more podcasts with you. Just more collabs, man. I don't know.
Well, you want to see my transformation for this fight, is what you're saying.
Dude, not to sound whatever, like into dudes in that way, which is nothing wrong with that, but the male physique, I've always been fascinated with. Just like I do love bodybuilding too, and like I said, it's a superhero physiques and that. Yeah, like it's when I see a body transformation, like I get excited, like I get happy for that person because I also know what kind of lifestyle they have to live to to achieve that, and it's a lot of respect, man, because you're having self-respect. That I get the personal journey to like get that rep in when you don't think you can do it. Yeah. Like it's like what did you have to? how deep did you have to dig?
Dig in there.
Yeah, when you're running and you're tired and then you all of a sudden pulled off another fucking 10 minutes straight of running and you're like, wow, like what were you thinking? Like that person can be reliable.
Yeah.
He like that person will get through some shit. He'll find a way.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
I'm finding it's you know what, if I was in a situation where I was with my kids and with my wife, I would still definitely have the dad bod, right? Because you have
I hate everything about that mentality.
But for working out, like, at the end of the day, because you're not a dad, man, you can't, like,
that's true.
You're not a dad. Like, if you have to help, you help your wife, like, bring that kid up. You take them to practices, and then you got to go to work full time, man.
Yeah.
Like, and like, hunt and gather, right?
Dude,
at the end of the day, where's the energy for working out?
I guess there's some vanity in me. Like, I would not let that happen. Like, I know me. You can
5 years from now, I'm going to hold you to that.
Well, I plan to. I hope to have a family one day. I mean, oh, it's not like me and my fiance don't talk about it. But anyway, it's like we're just in different stages.
It's okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, I hope to at least be a dad in this life.
Yeah.
If I never get to be a grandpa, I'm fine. But like, if I hope to be a dad at least in this life, I feel like it's
a beautiful thing, man. It is a beautiful thing.
Well, I feel like I can give to the world in that way. Like, I feel like I can raise good kids that can continue to learn from my mistakes. And,
exactly.
But I was gonna say, like, I don't see myself, like, I think I only see myself getting better as far as, especially in the physical realm. Like it just, that's one thing, like, I always find the energy for, like it's even if you gave me like running this business, like, basically 24/7, then you pack on 2 kids, then you pack on your meals, you're like, I will find that half hour. It might even be only half hour I can get, but I'll carve that out to, like,
well, that's fair. That's fair.
10 solid
half an hour, 3 hours. No.
But like, I mean, but right now, I'll give you a quick example that I've been experimenting with lately. Like,
but you've got good body genetics too.
I do naturally
have with that.
Yeah, so I do have a good baseline to work with. Yeah. So, maybe that's not the best advice then, because I do know my genetics carry a long way. I just gotta get, like, it's me. I just have to do the lifting, literally lifting.
Yeah.
Get the heart rate to a certain point through the lifting, and stimulate the muscle groups. Like, basically, if I do 10 good sets of lifting, it might be 3 sets of bench, 2 sets of like a squat of some kind, even though I don't squat heavy right now.
He's gonna be Mr. Invincible.
2 sets of, like, a bi curl. You find the right weight range. If I even get those 10 sets in, everything takes care of itself. Metabolism finds its way, everything. Yeah. So so I do have good genetics. So maybe I'm not the best guy to.
You've got good genetics, bro. Like, you do. Yeah. So you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're blessed with that.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Hey, Jason. We'll continue discussion when we get to our next pod together. But check the show notes for everyone's things, and let's support Check Engine. Let's support men's mental health, and let's support Jason on his boxing here.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Sweet.
Thanks, man.
Okay. All right. Bye.